right. Hi, Miss Dylan Jones Experience reporting from the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. I am here with Q from Miles and Coltrane Blue, which is my absolutely favorite show of the entire festival so far. O to the M to the motherfucking G. I am in love with the show. It is amazing, and Q and I are going to talk about that now. Hey.
Hey, what's going on, people? How you doing?
Okay, Q, tell everybody, tell our audiences at home. I'm just going to pretend like I have my own TV show. It's going to be great. Tell me, where are you from?
Well, I'm originally from Greenwood, South Carolina, in the middle of nowhere. But I reside in Charlotte, North Carolina now, and I've been in Charlotte for the past 8 years.
And you have your own company in Charlotte as well,
yes,
right?
Yes, I have my own theater company in Charlotte, On Q Performing Arts, and we've been in existence since 2006, and we specialize in producing classic, contemporary, and original performance works that reflect the African American experience.
How did this piece come about?
It came about, it's weird. When I first got to Charlotte, I had just graduated from Winthrop University, and I was burned out on theater, and I was like, I don't want to read another play, talk about a play, and do none of that. So I ended up, I was also, not also, but I am a spoken word poet, and got into slam and into the slam community and the poetry community in Charlotte. And I was like, I can still be an artist, but not have to worry about all the running parts of theater and being involved in, you know. So got into the slam scene and met some great artists, nationally recognized poets from Slam Charlotte, Respect the Mic, and we just became good friends. And of course, a couple years later, I ended up catching the theater bug again. It was like, I have to do something. And you know, one of my passions is African American playwrights and the experience, and so I decided to start a theater company because there was nothing like it in Charlotte. And one of my big things was making sure, since I'm a writer, is that having not only doing classic and contemporary work, but try and produce at least one original a year. And that's just a feat within itself.
It sounds like you were able to keep your feet wet getting on stage, and then it's just like, while you were planted, it came out.
Kind of all together,
That's great.
So through that, that's where Miles and Coltrane came about. The show actually came about randomly. Me and another musician were sitting on the back steps of our poetry spot, which we have every Tuesday and Thursday, and he was like, do you know of any shows about Miles or Coltrane? And I was like, you know what, I don't know any theater shows about Miles Davis and John Coltrane.
I'm so glad y'all asked that question.
Which is odd because they're two of the biggest,
combination.
And they're two of the biggest musicians of all time. So we started looking into it, and I was like, well, I'll ask some of the poets, you know, and the musicians came up with the music. So what happens with the show is we had 9 writers on the show. Norris Guest, Tavis Brunson, Fillmore Johnson, C.P. Mays, Mecca, Ocean, Carlos, myself, and Blues. And they all wrote different parts of the story. And our MD, who's a good friend of mine, Stephen Gordon, I was like, you know, do you want to do it? He knows some of the best musicians in the world.
Amazing.
He's played with everybody, you know. So I was like, do you want to play? And he was like, it sounds like a cool project. And the cool thing about it is that technically we haven't had a rehearsal yet. Because like jazz is very freeform. So a lot of the times, all the time, the musicians make up the music on the spot.
So they're just jamming.
They're just jamming. And we're just feeding off each other, you know? The words stay the same. But the music changes, which changes the mood.
The flavor.
How we move in and out. And
Wow.
So every time you see it, it's a different show, and it's literally a different show for us too.
Yeah. Wow. And I mean, how much talent you absolutely have to be able to go on the fly like that. It's amazing. Yeah. I lived in New York in the '90s.
Okay.
So spoken word, it was a big thing. You know, and then you get to the point where you just can't listen to another person say something like this and call it poetry. You know, and how big is the spoken word community in Charlotte?
It's very big.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we have a great collective of artists, and actually the collective of artists who wrote the show, Concrete Generation.
Right. They're all from Charlotte?
Yeah, they're all from Charlotte, or
great.
based in Charlotte. You know.
Yeah.
Some of us have moved on, but actually all of the writers, except for one of them, we still live in Charlotte. The other one, she's from Charlotte, so she has family there and comes
that's
back
great.
all the time. So,
that's great.
Yeah, so it's like the best of both worlds. You know, you have the poetry family and my theater family, and we merged them together.
Well, and you melded your loves together, which is and the thing that I loved so much about your show is it was the essence of jazz. For anybody who doesn't know anything about jazz at all, you could come and see the show and learn something about jazz. And if you don't like jazz, that's okay. You don't have to like it. It's fine, but you're still going to learn something
and that's what we
from
tried
it.
to do. We tried to make a show that wasn't. We didn't want to do a homage to Miles or Coltrane because neither one of them was perfect, you know. And we wanted to have the real story because their stories are fascinating, you know. And it goes so much deeper than even what we did, you know. You talk about Miles or Coltrane in depth, you'll be there for hours, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely.
So, but it was just interesting because their personalities were kind of the opposite of each other. So it instantly made for good drama.
It does, it completely fuses the piece that way. And you didn't shy away from the ugliness of it, which for me is also the essence of jazz. You know, it's going to get a little nasty there for a minute, and you find your way back through. I mean, that's what I think resonates to us as humans mostly. Yeah, so you started the piece 5 years ago, is that what I heard you say?
Yeah, 5 years ago, and we've been developing it, and you know how it is with getting a production up. And, so, you know, we do a one night here and one night there, and we did a festival. We actually came to Edinburgh in '09, but we were only able to bring 5 people.
Right.
You know, it was expensive. It still is expensive.
funny that. Even more so.
Exactly. So, but this time we were able to bring all 10 of the cast members.
Oh, that's great. Did you have to do a fair amount of fundraising, or did you get a grant or anything?
Yeah, we did a fair amount of fundraising, a lot of fundraising, and we also had 2 producers who helped us out with it, Rick Lasses and Tammy Green, who are both just signed on as our new producers.
Right.
And this is kind of our first go as producers all together. So it's been great. Yeah, it's been good. Yeah.
How has the adjustment been to having to busk and sing before your shows to try and get audiences? How have your audiences been?
Yeah, we do that all the time.
Okay, good.
Anyway, that's nothing new whatsoever.
Sing at the supper.
Basically.
Right, so that's just been part of the deal.
Yeah, part of the deal.
Have you been getting good houses here?
Yeah, we've been getting pretty good houses. The first week was kind of slack, but we kind of expected that. And then last week, this past Sunday, it just started picking up. And,
good.
Yeah, so we've been rolling along.
How have the UK audiences been responding to the show?
They love it. It was interesting. We've gotten 3 reviews, and all 3 of them have been 3 out of 5 stars. And it's been interesting reading the reviews. And they were all the first week, so we really didn't have the energy of, and we had a mixed audience, but it was odd because American audiences are very responsive, and British audience, UK audiences are very reserved, and I mean they might give a chuckle here and there, but they're not gonna talk back to you like American audiences do, which I love.
Right.
You know?
I actually, in the middle, someone introduced me and I'm like, hi, Miles, or hi, whoever. Like, I actually said it back and people looked at me like I was crazy. But, yeah, they've kind of found, they found the middle of the road with your stars.
Yeah.
When the thing that I love is that it's really either 5 or 1. You're either going to love this piece or you're going to hate it. For me, that's what theater's supposed to be about. You know, the night I was there, a guy walked out. He was kind of an older cat, and he walked out, and I'm like, y'all did it right. You got somebody to get up and walk out. Like, you're doing something right in my book when you when you do that. Absolutely. And I mean, as a producer, I'm sure that's something that would probably be exciting to you. You know, I mean,
I love testing audiences and see how far you can push them, push buttons. I love that. That's what, like you said, that's what theater is for.
Wow, yeah. How did you find your Miles? Was he already part of your company? Because your Miles looks so much like Miles, and he's kind of.
I love that brother.
He is a tough cat right there.
Sultan Omar El-Amin is like my brother at arms, like a brother from another mother. And when I first got to Charlotte, we were both working at this place called the African American Cultural Center, which is now the Gantt Center. And you know, we were just talking about, you know, I was like, I want to do a play. And he was like, well, I got you, man. I'm an actor, because he graduated from North Carolina A&T with a degree in theater. And you know how it is, you graduate with a degree in theater. I'm like, what the hell do I do? You know?
You can make good lattes.
Yeah, exactly. So we were like, we're going to do a play. And come to find out, he's a hell of an actor. And,
yes, he is.
He can play any part. I swear Omar can play any part under the sun. I've seen him do it. And I went to him and was like, you know, I got this originals, you know, you'll originate the part. And I came back probably like 2-3 weeks after I gave him the script, and he just blew my mind. Like, I was not even ready. Like, he just instantly started doing this, and I was like, wow, he
has a method to it. He came up with the master gesture, that's for sure.
Exactly. But he's an actor's actor. He does his research. He really gets into the part.
Right.
And it's crazy, like, when he's backstage, you think he was talking to Miles Davis, because he goes into character about 30, 45 minutes.
Do you have to refer to him as Miles? Talk to him as perfect. Yeah,
exactly. So,
he's good. Yeah. He's the Daniel Day-Lewis of Charlotte. Do you have a big theater scene in Charlotte?
It's relatively big. I wouldn't say big.
Y'all are still really cultivating that.
It's still cultivating.
Good.
Charlotte is known as a banking town, not really an arts town per se.
Got it.
But we're trying to put a dent in that, you know. So,
well, clearly you are doing your work. It's getting a little loud, so I'm only going to ask another couple questions. I could talk all night, but you do such fine acting in the piece, and you're also producing. How has that been for you? Is that something that you've done a lot of, or because I know what special, particular challenges that can pose?
Yeah.
How has that been for you?
I would not like to do it all the time, but sometimes it's a necessary evil.
Right.
In starting the company, you know, one of the reasons I started the company is because I wanted to be on stage.
Right, of course. Yeah.
And, you know, I was like, I want to, you know, create opportunities for actors, you know, to be on stage, and I wanted to be one of those actors.
Right.
And, you know, got bogged down with administrative work and, you know, all that stuff. So, but I really do love directing too. So, because I directed the piece also. But I really don't call this directing because it's not really directing. You know, it's not traditional directing. But yeah, there are challenges with producing and directing. Acting.
Like you wish that somebody else would do it.
Hence why we have 2 new producers on the team. So
that's good.
Hopefully I can phase myself out of being, you know, producer.
Right. Well, my last question, just because it's starting to get loud up in this piece. Is there a question that you wish somebody would ask you that nobody ever does?
Oh, wow. That is a good question. I don't know. That is an awesome question, though.
Okay. You don't have to have an answer.
I'm going to think about that and bring your camera back.
I will.
And I will have something for you.
All right, Q.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Ms. Dylan Jones signing off from the front lines of the Edinburgh Fringe.